counting us in. Ready? Here we go. Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight, never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon.
Good job, everybody.
That was really good.
Good.
Oh, I cannot say enough good things about Sailor Moon.
Seriously.
It was my gateway anime. For anybody who's unfamiliar with the term gateway anime, it's like a gateway drug.
But with Japanese animation.
But with Japanese animation.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, basically.
It is.
But I remember, so I had watched it as a kid on UPN, the original dub of it, just of the first season. And I really liked it. I was pretty young. I was probably only 7 or 8 when it was first airing in the States. And then it was part of the original Toonami lineup.
Yeah.
And I remember I literally caught the very first episode the first time they aired it on Toonami. And I was like, I forgot how much I love this show. Why is it just not on in a marathon? Like, all I wanted to do was watch Sailor Moon.
I watched it. It was probably on UPN when I first saw it too, but in Oklahoma it aired ridiculously early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was like waiting to go to school and waiting for my mom to like round us up and take us, I would just watch cartoons, and it was one of the cartoons that would be on ungodly early.
Right.
And I was about like 7 or 8 maybe, and I just remember being like, what is this? I like this a lot. And then it was gone, and then years go by. I'm 13. Our cable company in Oklahoma finally gets Cartoon Network as part of its like regular lineup. You don't have to pay extra for it, and there it is. And I was like, this is that show, oh my god! And I loved it, and I watched it all the time. And then it went away for a little while again, and then I tried to get everyone I could into Sailor Moon just to fill the void of it.
So
not
you
being on
became
the air
you
anymore.
became a dealer.
I did. I became a Sailor Moon dealer, and I was trying to get everybody I could into it because I had the VHSs of the movies. I was like, watch this with me, watch this with me, watch this episode with me. And so they all got into it, and then one day I came home from school, and back in the, ancient days of when we had answering machines, I went to check messages, and there was a message. And I pressed the button, and it's my friend Becca, and she's like, oh my god, you'll never believe this, but Cartoon Network had new commercials for a new season of Sailor Moon, and it was the Sailor Moon S series. And I was like,
Man.
what? And she even like put the phone next to the TV, so the message had the audio of the commercial in it, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever! So good.
My first Sailor Moon experience, I was one of the houses that never ever had cable. So the only time I ever saw it was when we were staying in hotels and it was just on. And so I saw a handful of episodes. I was all about it. I had a friend in high school who had long blonde hair, purely to look like Sailor Moon. So I'd watch it at her house. But everything was always out of order, and nothing, like the episodes would not air in order, and suddenly there'd be characters there that you'd be like, who is this person? And then they'd be gone the next week. So I was always like intrigued by it, but I just got bits and pieces. And it wasn't until, honestly, about a year ago that I realized you could watch anime online. And I said, it's going to be fun. I'm gonna watch it. I'm going to watch this show. And over the course of the next month, I watched hundreds of episodes of Sailor Moon. And it was just sort of like having like a little taste of something as a kid. And then suddenly someone is like, here's a buffet of the thing you love.
Right.
And Sailor Moon S. Definitely was this season. The first 2, I was like, oh yeah, I like these. Oh, these are great. And then I got to that one, and you had told me that it was going to be my favorite.
Yeah, because it was my favorite.
And then as soon as the Outer Senshi showed up, I was like, just the show just dropped a mic.
Yeah.
It was like, we are here now.
Well, and by and large, I think that for the first 3 seasons of Sailor Moon, like every season was better.
Yeah,
like
it just
got
like
better
Sailor
and
Moon
better.
R was better than the original series, and then Sailor Moon S is largely critically acclaimed as being the best series of Sailor Moon.
It was hardcore.
Yeah, it was pretty
So
hardcore.
into it.
Yeah.
Oh man, which I think Sailor Moon S is one of the things that really like exploited my fascination with girls who who are masculine. I get masculine girls,
Okay.
I guess. Because I was already kind of obsessed with, like, girls who cross-dress to do cool things. Because I really liked Viola from 12th Night.
Yeah.
And any other story that had something like that in it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. And then Sailor Uranus comes in, and she's, like, wearing the boys' uniform. I'm repping it, by the way. Uranus pride. Yeah, she's wearing the boys' uniform. She drives a motorcycle. She plays piano. She sword fights. I'm like, man.
She leans on things.
She's the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, she leans.
So
She does
well.
lean on
Man,
everything.
her and Jordan Catalano could have a lean off. But I think he'd lose because she'd be the best. And so I was so obsessed with Sailor Uranus just because, like, at the time when I was being a really shitty, like, preteen teenager, you know, and I was like, oh, I hate everything, and I hate all the girls I go to school with, and just everybody's so bleh. And then Sailor Uranus came in and was like, finally a girl like me, someone who doesn't really feel like they're like a girl. And I
Right.
did so much research on Sailor Uranus, and that's when I discovered that Sailor Neptune, who in the show, if you watch the American cut, is her cousin. Through my extensive research of Sailor Uranus, I found out they were in fact lesbians.
It's so
Oh man.
it's so strange to me too that they made that choice in the American version of the anime, because all of the manga was published in the US long before they started airing the later season, so basically from Sailor Moon S on in the States. And in the manga, number one, they kept all the original Japanese names. They didn't feel the name to give them weird names like Amara. Does anybody know anybody named Amara?
Oh, no, that's the most American name in the world. You've got Sarah, you've got Brittany, and then you've got Amara.
Right.
They're everywhere.
Right. But in the manga, they also kept that relationship. They just were like, yeah, these girls are lesbians. Deal with it.
I don't see why they felt the need to, like, pretend that they were anything different.
It's almost like being gay is totally normal.
Oh my god.
Weird.
Yeah, I feel like the American dub of Sailor Moon really missed out in that regard.
I agree.
It was a different time back then because there weren't a lot of gay couples on regular television, you know. But like, man, what an opportunity you had to have this show that is aimed at like teenage girls
even,
and to be like, here's a lesbian couple. And then for girls who are maybe struggling with their sexuality at that age, they would have like this healthy couple who are close to their age and be like, oh my god, I'm normal. It's totally normal.
Well, and gay and lesbian relationships is something that shoujo anime and manga doesn't shy away from in general. In fact, it's very common to find, particularly, you know, male gay couples in shoujo anime.
Well, and there was other couples.
Exactly. Well, in the original anime version, and this was not in the manga, this was added to the anime. In the original season, the first season of Sailor Moon, the characters of Malachite and Zoisite are in a relationship with one another.
Yep. And I was a teenager when I watched it, and I totally fell for the dub of having
Zoisite.
They
Zoisite.
snowed me.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Well, because in Zoisite, the way that he's drawn is very
feminine.
Femme. He's got
Absolutely.
lashes. He's got long wavy hair. And then when I realized that he was a dude, and I started rewatching episodes because you gave me that website, and I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. So much more sense.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that even just, you know, you have a gay couple, but you also have kids that it's a very fluid sexuality. So all of the Sailor Scouts are totally into Uranus.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when they think that Uranus is a boy, and then when Uranus is a girl, they still can't help themselves.
Yeah, they're really not off-put by the fact that she is a woman. They're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm into a girl.
Yeah.
All right, I have a crush on a girl. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sailor Moon in general, I just think has such fantastic portrayals of such a diverse array of ladies.
Yes. So many different ladies. You've got your super girly girls who are like Venus and Usagi, and you've got your sporty girl who is Sailor Jupiter, and then you've got your bookworm who's Sailor Mercury, and then you've got your just kind of like hot-headed leader, very put together, who is Rei. Mars.
Yeah. She's definitely a little less temperamental in the manga, but she's still very like stern and put together, and is honestly like when she becomes a Sailor Senshi, even though she's the one who's like, oh, I don't have time to deal with this, she has such a tremendous grasp on her powers right from the get-go.
Right.